A couple of notes on the board to remind you the weekly colloquium tomorrow continues the discussion with Scott Chaden on aesthetics. Last week, you recall, he was talking about a nominalist view of musical composition, and this week he's critiquing a realist view. Nominalist, there are no objectively real universals. Realism, there are, so universal aesthetic values. Critiquing a realist view of musical composition. Nick Walderstorff is well known. He used to teach at Calvin College. He's now at Yale Divinity School, and has written a couple of books on aesthetics that are very good. So that's what Chaden is taking to task if you want to join us up in the seminar room. And we said we'd have an optional discussion in the afternoon tomorrow. I'm suggesting room 272. It's a little cozier for a small group than this. So see you down there. 272 is at that end. Okay, second floor. Now, before we move on to the next topic with Plato, what I'd like to do is to take some time to look at the Timaeus and the segment from the Laws, which you've been reading. It's there that in fuller detail than anywhere else, Plato talks about cosmology, the stuff we were on last time. And I thought it might help if we try and highlight and disentangle what he's saying, and then take time to absorb, discuss a bit, perhaps, what he's up to. Okay? So turn in Kaufman, if you would, to page 253. I hope by now you've developed the habit of bringing Kaufman. If not, I guess you will after this one. Page 253. Notice that he starts, or Timaeus starts, by talking about making things. And at the bottom of the first column, whenever the maker of anything looks to what is unchanging and uses a model of that description in fashioning the form and quality of his work, all that he thus accomplishes must be good. But if he looks to something that has come to be, something, in other words, which is not eternal, which has come into existence, is part of the world of becoming, another particular, then it will not be good. So the obvious point of departure then in this segment is the notion of particulars being shaped, being made, in accordance with some unchanging, eternal pattern, model, archetype, okay? And you immediately begin to tie it into the theory of forms that we were on a couple of days ago, okay? He goes on, however, to apply this overall notion to the making of the whole heaven and world, the cosmos. Call it by whatever name you like. Has it always been? Or does it have some beginning? Has it come to be? Yes, it has come to be, because it's a physical kind of thing. The cosmos as we know it. The material elements, as the Greeks generally thought, may well be eternal. But the ordered cosmos, as we know it, is something that has come to be. And so is the world of time and change. And so in the middle of that second column, he points this out, that which becomes must become by the agency of some cause. And in that you have, if you like, one of the very first formulations of a causal argument for the existence of a transcendent divine being who brought the cosmos into being the way we know it. The seed of what comes later. He goes on, the maker and father of this universe is a hard task to find. And having found him, it would be impossible to declare him to all mankind. It sounds like an echo of Protagoras the sophist, who said he had no way of knowing if God is, and if he did, it would be very hard to communicate. And Gorgias took that further. So, thus far, nothing particularly new, just continuing along the line of thought of the predecessors. But then he goes on, go back to the question about this world. After which of two models did the builder frame it? After what is always the same, unchanging, eternal, or after that which has come to be? There's the choice. Now, this world, this cosmos, is good, and its maker is good. Remember we commented last time about Plato saying that the maker wanted being good, wanted to make everything good. Okay? The world is good, its maker good, eternal. If this is the case, now, if the world is good, then clearly you have to look to the eternal. But on the contrary supposition, if this world is a pretty bad place, then it may well be a copy of something which has come to be, very imperfect copy of a very imperfect something. You see? Well, obviously, the world is such as an ordered unity that we have to look to an eternal archetype, an eternal model. Okay? And so this cosmos is shaped according to some eternal ideal, some archetype, some eternal form. So this business of forms and particulars applies not only to particular cats and dogs, like the archetypal form of Katniss and Dognus, not only to two equal-length sticks, equal after the ideal of equalness, but it applies to the cosmos, this physical cosmos, a cosmos after the eternal ideal of an ordered cosmos of some sort. So the line of thought moves into that direction. Then on 254, the very bottom of the first column, state for what reason this universe was framed by him who framed it. And here's the response. He was good, and in the good no jealousy in any matter can arise. So being without jealousy, he decided that all things should come as near as possible to being like himself. The cosmos shaped in a way that would be like the maker. Now, that theme here in Plato's Timaeus, as you might anticipate, is one that was picked up by Christian theologians and carried throughout the Middle Ages. God created a world to reflect his perfection and splendor. Everything exists then to be as like to God as it can be in being the kind of thing it is. And the conception of human beings created in God's image is simply part of that whole picture. So the Platonic clue here is picked up and used in Christian theology later on. But taking as it stands in Plato, it's simply a matter of this particular cosmos being like some eternal ideal. Spell that out in the second column, the middle paragraph, taking thought, the maker, the artificer, the demiurge, as we noted last time, taking thought, the maker found among things that are visible, no work that is without intelligence will ever be better than one that has intelligence. So when he framed the universe, he fashioned reason within soul and soul within body to the end that the work accomplished might be by nature as excellent and perfect as possible. So here's the notion that not only do humans have rational soul within body, which is the topic we'll be getting into shortly, but that the physical cosmos has, with its physical body, some sort of world soul, you see, a rational ordering principle that can govern the body of the cosmos the way a human rational soul guides the bodily life of the human. You say that sounds mythological. Yeah, from our standpoint, maybe, because we are so indoctrinated with Newtonian science. This universe is a thing so dead, remember. But not for the Greeks, the Thales. The world is besouled and full of divinity, you see, alive, besouled. There's some driving, animating force, power. Plato's particularly fond of referring to Anaximenes with his, did I say Anaximenes? Who do I mean? Huh? Who said there is a cosmic mind? The nous, Anaxagoras. Thanks. Yeah, Plato was particularly fond of referring to Anaxagoras. You see, there is mind in the universe, giving it rational order and direction. So he's picking up on those pre-Socratic notions. And this is why, he goes on to say, this world came to be by God's providence, in very truth, a living creature with soul, reason. Anaxagoras was right, according to Plato. But obviously, he has to spell that notion out. It's a purely germinal idea in Anaxagoras, undeveloped. Plato wants to develop it. And that's what he tries to do in the following segments. The last paragraph at the bottom of 254, he likens the world, because of this soul and body approach, to a living creature, of which all other living creatures are parts. So we as living things are part of this overall living creature. He's using the analogy. And at the top of 255, first column, the god, that is to say the demiurge in this case, I think, wishing to make the world most nearly like that intelligible thing that's best and in every way complete, fashioned it as a single living thing, a universe, containing within itself all living things like that. But how is this going to be understood? And on 255, just over halfway down, that which comes to be, which came into being, was body, visible, tangible. And that required the basic elements. But in order that it be a unified thing, it had to be bonded together in some way. And it's of the nature, at the bottom of the column, of a continued geometrical proportion. Echoes of Pythagoras. This is a mathematically ordered universe, you see. And in the middle of 255, the four elements then are bound together in a world visible and tangible. Four constituents in number, the body of the universe, coming into concord by means of proportion, mathematical proportion. From these it acquired amity. There's Empedocles' notion of love, as distinct from hate, a bonding force. So that coming into unity with itself, it became indissoluble by any other save him who bound it together. Only the demiurge could disintegrate, such as the unifying force. Well, on the page 256, top of the second column, all this was the plan of the God who is forever, the God who was something sometime to be. The plan of the God who is forever, for the God who was sometime to be. That is to say, for the world soul. You see. And so this spherical cosmos, smooth, uniform, everywhere equidistant from its center. In the center he set a soul, caused it to extend throughout the whole. The Greeks had the notion of the soul as diffused throughout the whole body. That's how you can have sensitivity in your toes, as well as in the top of your head. You see. Diffused throughout the body. He wrapped the body round the soul on the outside. And so the world was brought into being. Then the bottom of that column, when the Father who had begotten the cosmos this way set it in motion, saw it set in motion and alive, like a shrine brought into being for the everlasting gods, yes, to be like God, he rejoiced, was well pleased, as if almost an echo of the biblical phrase. It's good. Curious, isn't it? The parallel. Some of the early Christians were so profoundly impressed by this passage that they said Plato must have read the book of Moses. You may recall reading that he was one time in Syracuse to try and teach the heir to the throne at Syracuse so that he could be a real philosopher king, as Plato idealized for society. The guy turned out to be uneducable in those regards. So Plato went off home and got captured by slave traders on the way, and ended up on the block for sale in Egypt. Yeah. Some of his friends recognized him there, bought him, gave him his liberty, and he came home and swore never again to leave Athens. You see. But, all right, what you have then is a living being eternal. The Father who had forgotten it said, this is good. You see. Well, they thought that when he was in Egypt, remember the date? Late 300s, early 300s rather, shortly after 400 BC, during the captivity, the diaspora, the Jewish community developing in Egypt. He must there in Egypt have read the books of Moses, they thought. Well, it's a beautiful ad hoc hypothesis, not a shred of evidence they did. They therefore had to come up with other explanations of the similarity, and that gets to be exciting. They appealed to the Logos doctrine to explain it. There is the one Logos that enlightens every mind that comes into the world. You see. But it's this sort of passage that triggered that. Not only Moses said God looked at the world he made and said it was good, but Plato said that God looked at the world that was made and said it was good. Curious parallel. Okay. Well, the result is that the world that is made is, at the very bottom of 256, a moving likeness of eternity. And that becomes Plato's definition of time. A changing image of the eternal. Yes, because time is the realm of particulars. The eternal is the realm of forms. What are particulars? The changing images of eternal forms. So is time, but a changing image of the eternal. And here that's applied to the whole cosmos. We have given to this the name time, he says. Well, as you move on, you notice on page 259 the account gets more detailed, but he comes to refer to what he calls the receptacle. Receptacle. Okay. That, as it were, in which the elements are bonded together in this way to provide one unified whole. What is this receptacle? This receptacle as a whole encompasses the world of becoming, yes, but the receptacle is obviously space. A spatial world. So here are his notions of space and time. Space as a vast empty receptacle into which things can come. I mentioned before there's some ambiguity about how to interpret Plato. And this is a ripe time, I think, to say another word about that. The two interpretations I mentioned before are dualist and idealist. The dualist interpretation is that what the demiurge does is to take eternal forms and to combine them with eternal material elements, or some eternal, even more primal matter, but two eternal realities, form and matter, okay, in making this cosmos. And certainly the Timaeus might be read that way, this soul, like eternal form, you see, and the receptacle, the matter. You see. On the other hand, the idealist interpretation, which is developed in both Middle and Neoplatonism, and really becomes the historical force of Platonism later on. The idealist interpretation is that the only reality is what Plato calls being, the realm of forms. The realm of forms. Now, on the other extreme, you have, of course, the realm of non-being, literally nothing. You see. How then do we get this world of becoming? You see. Well, this world of becoming is a manifestation of eternal forms where there would have been nothing, but only a manifestation, a shadow of, a reflection of. The idealist of this sort is saying that there are all sorts of images and likenesses and approximations to form, you see, but they have no being of their own. You perceive an image on a screen when a video is playing, but it has no reality of its own, that image. It's a visual manifestation of something that's reduced, you see. And in the idealist sense, that's what the entire physical side of the cosmos is. It's a manifestation of the eternal form in the receptacle, which otherwise would be not just nothing in particular, but nothing at all. Well, that begins to emerge at the bottom of 261, where he says, at the bottom of the first